All right, let's talk about something that I think every single one of us has struggled with. You know that frustrating feeling when you're trying to make important information stick in your brain, but it just won't stay put. Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful framework for making your memory actually work for you instead of against you. I mean, really think about it for a second. Have you ever been there? You're studying for a huge exam. You've got a presentation to nail. Or maybe it's just something really important you wanted to remember word for word. You put in all this effort, and then, right when you need it the most, poof, it's just gone. It's a universal feeling, and it's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
So where do we even begin with a problem this big? Well, the first thing, and this is absolutely crucial, is to realize that if you struggle with this, you are so not alone. This isn't some personal failure. It's a shared human experience.
I mean, just look at this list. Does any of this feel familiar? You're trying so hard to focus, but your phone is buzzing. A million other things are calling your name. The material itself is maybe kind of boring. You're always short on time, and the whole thing just leads to this cycle of frustration. It is totally enough to make anyone just want to throw in the towel. Okay, now this quote right here, this is a complete game changer. It just flips the whole problem on its head. The issue isn't that you have a bad memory, like some kind of faulty hardware you're stuck with. No. The issue is that your memory, just like a muscle, is simply untrained. It hasn't been given the right workout.
And that idea, that simple shift from ability to training, that brings us to the real heart of the solution. The problem isn't your memory, it's the method you're using. It's not about forcing it or trying harder, it's about getting smarter and changing your whole approach.
You know, for decades, the advice we all got was basically just brute force. Read it over and over and over again. Just hammer that information into your head until it sticks. But what we know now is that this is like trying to hammer a screw into a piece of wood. It's just working against the grain. It fights the natural way our brains are designed to learn and create strong, lasting memories.
And this is that huge shift in thinking, laid out right here. The old way on the left, that's all about rote repetition, force, and frankly, a lot of frustration. But the modern approach, on the right, that's about being strategic. It's about understanding the mechanics of your own mind and using techniques that work with your brain's natural wiring, not against it. You go from feeling frustrated to having a real strategy.
So, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds good in theory, but this isn't just some vague idea. The approach we're looking at is a real, structured framework that has been tested and proven over time.
In fact, the methods behind this whole new way of thinking have been developed and fine-tuned for over a decade. So this isn't some flash-in-the-pan trend. It's a system built on years and years of practice, seeing what actually works for real people. And get this, it's worked for people as young as 3 years old, all the way up to folks who are 72. That is incredible. It just goes to show you that these principles aren't about age. A sharp, trained memory is something anyone can achieve, no matter where you're starting from. And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? If the old ways are broken and there's a new, proven way that actually works, what is it? What's the secret sauce? What are the actual practical steps you can take to start training your memory the right way? Well, the answer lies in a really elegant structure, built on 3 core pillars. Think of these like the foundation of a house. If you build these 3 things correctly, you can create a memory that's powerful and super reliable. And the framework itself is beautifully simple. First, you have to understand the machine, your own mind. Second, you've got to prepare the operator. That's your mindset. And third, you need to build the support structure. That's your system. So let's break each of these down.
So, pillar number 1 is all about knowing how your memory actually works. Because here's the thing, it's not just one big filing cabinet. You have different memory systems for different tasks. Some are great for facts and figures, others are wired for stories and emotions. Understanding which tool to use for which job is the key. It's like being a mechanic. You need to know whether you need a wrench or a screwdriver.
Now, pillar 2 is fascinating because it's all about the psychology of learning. Remember that frustration we talked about, that fear of forgetting, what the source material calls the specter of forgetfulness? That fear can actually sabotage you before you even start. So this step is all about building mental toughness, building the resilience and the confidence to get over those psychological hurdles that are holding you back.
And finally, pillar 3. This is so important. It recognizes that real, powerful learning just doesn't happen in a vacuum. You need a system of support. This could be anything. A study partner who keeps you accountable, an app that gives you consistent feedback, a community, anything that creates an environment that keeps you motivated and on track. It's about making sure you're not trying to do it all by yourself.
Okay, so let's zoom out. We've gone from this universal problem of forgetting to a whole new way of thinking about the mind, and now to a practical three-part solution. So what's the big idea? What's the main thing to walk away with here?
Here it is, boiled down for you. First, and say it with me, your memory is not fixed. It's trainable. Second, stop trying to use brute force. The right method is always going to be more important than just putting in more effort with the wrong one. And third, a real winning strategy has to be holistic. It's about your mind, your mindset, and the support system you build around you.
And to leave you with a final thought, this three-pillar approach, understand the mechanics, prepare your mindset, and build a support system, this doesn't just work for memorization. I mean, just imagine for a second. What if you apply this to learning a new language, or mastering an instrument, or launching a business? What monumental skill could you finally achieve if you stopped battling what you think are your limits and started training your true potential?